Hi, my name's Todd. I'm your host for The Laundry List. Welcome to our show. It's me and Blake today, and we are excited for a awesome show. Been hearing great feedback from some of our listeners, and some of the feedback was, I was really, really anxious. I was like in my head at night, and I put on your podcast, and I just felt better. And just, that's like music to my ears. Like just when people can listen and they just feel better. Cause I know I listen to a lot of podcasts and I usually feel better when I listen.
For sure. And to the listeners out there, we do these and we feel better. So
right. I still have a hard time listening to our own podcast.
I can't.
But I love listening to podcasts,
I can't do it.
So we're excited. The listeners are getting a lot from the shows. And we're over 65 shows now, so we got a lot of content out there, a lot about relationships, a lot about loving our inner child, a lot about just finding joy in your life and learning how to play. So before we get too deep in the weeds here on this podcast, we're going to have Blake read the laundry list and the promises.
All right, so this is the laundry list. 1, we became isolated and afraid of people and authority figures. 2, we became approval seekers and lost our identity in the process. 3, we are frightened by angry people and any personal criticism. 4, we either become alcoholics, marry them, or both, or find another compulsive personality such as a workaholic to fulfill our sick abandonment needs. 5, we live life from the viewpoint of victims, and we are attracted by that weakness in our love and friendship relationships. 6, we have an overdeveloped sense of responsibility, and it is easier for us to be concerned with others rather than ourselves. This enables us not to look too closely at our own faults, etc. 7, we get guilt feelings when we stand up for ourselves instead of giving in to others. 8, we became addicted to excitement. 9, we confuse love and pity and tend to love people who can pity and rescue. 10, we have stuffed our feelings from our traumatic childhood and lost the ability to feel or express our feelings because it hurts so much. Denial. 11, we judge ourselves harshly and have a very low sense of self-esteem. 12, we are dependent personalities who are terrified of abandonment, will do anything to hold on to a relationship in order not to experience painful abandonment feelings, which we receive from living with sick people who are never there emotionally for us. 13, alcoholism is a family disease, and we became para-alcoholics and took on the characteristics of that disease even though we did not pick up the drink. 14, para-alcoholics are reactors rather than actors.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, that's what we had and what we dealt with as a child and as an adult. And this is what we get when we do the work and open up about our fears and our anxiety. And this is the promises.
1, we will discover our real identities by loving and accepting others, or loving and accepting ourselves. 2, our self-esteem will increase as we give ourselves approval on a daily basis. 3, fear of authority figures and the need to people please will leave us. 4, our ability to share intimacy will grow inside us. 5, as we face our abandonment issues, we will be attracted by strengths and become more tolerant of weaknesses. 6, we will enjoy feeling stable, peaceful, and financially secure. 7, we will learn how to play and have fun in our lives. 8, we will choose to love people who can love and be responsible for themselves. 9, healthy boundaries and limits will become easier for us to set. 10, fears of failure and success will leave us as we intuitively make healthier choices. 11, with help from our ACA support group, we will slowly release our dysfunctional behaviors. 12, gradually with our higher powers' help, we will learn to expect the best and get it.
Yeah, great stuff. Great stuff. So I was just listening to or watching a YouTube actually at my house, and it was interesting because they were talking about this woman who's, I don't know, she's in her mid-30s probably, and she's like a coach, a personal coach, and also like a business motivator, speaker, something like that. But she was talking about health issues. And she was going on about how she has long COVID, she has mold, she has asthma, and she's like just going over all these health issues. And the guy who was helping her on the show was saying, well, it's probably not all these issues. There's probably something deeper here. Yeah. So they dissected it and they went into it. And, it's interesting because I've had health anxiety and I've had that same type of thing where, oh my God, there's something wrong with me. It's my sinuses. Oh, I got cancer. And it's always a symptom of the real problem.
For sure.
And for me, a lot of times I feel like I'm defective. I feel like I'm not lovable. I feel like I don't want to be close and intimate to other people. So if I create this illness, it's going to basically put a big wrench or rock between me and my loved ones.
Yep.
It's like, because now I'm self-consumed with this anxiety.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right. And then we are actually separated from my loved ones and we're not intimate and we're not having real conversations because all my conversations are about my health anxiety. Oh my God, my asthma is really acting up. I can't breathe out of my sinuses. And I become completely obsessed to where the other people are like, just fucking leave me alone. But when you really dissect it, like what is really going on, And I know a lot of people that have health anxieties say that they use that because as a kid, the only way they can get attention from their parents or siblings was to create an illness.
Do you relate to that?
Not really. I don't.
Like, what do you think? Because I know we've talked about your health anxiety. What do you think the root cause of that was?
I mean, maybe a little bit. Like when I was feeling scared or insecure, I would maybe say I'm sick to my mom to stay home to get attention.
Or would you do it like if she was mad at you?
Sometimes I do it when she was mad at me. But I think for me, I feel like I am not lovable.
Yeah.
I don't love myself. I feel different. And I need to put something in between me and how I feel about myself and the intimacy with others. Yeah. So if I can put this, let's just call it like a sinus infection between me and myself. So now I'm not judging myself what a piece of shit I am, what a loser I am. I'm a terrible businessman, terrible father, because now I'm obsessed about the health anxiety. So I'm not going down that road. So that at least feels better that I'm not going down what of a shitty person I am. And when I feel that way about myself, I want to make sure that the other people in my life that are close to me don't get too close to me because I feel so shitty about myself. So I'm going to create this health anxiety, so it's like you said, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy and I've experienced it. And what I've learned from it is whether it's the health anxiety, drugs and alcohol, pornography, we talk about this a lot on this podcast, gambling, isolation, whatever it is, it's usually we have a very low self opinion of ourselves. Like we really are looking at ourselves like, we're not lovable. We're not wonderful people. We're not children of God. We're like, ruined and wrecked and not good people. So we're going to go into one of these whack-a-mole addictions so we can escape and not be intimate with others, not feel, Yeah.
Whether it's drugs, alcohol, gambling, women, pornography, it's all just a symptom of the real root cause.
Yeah. Escape. We're trying to escape. But when we really peel back the onion and say, why am I trying to escape? Usually it's because I just don't feel like I don't feel lovable. I don't feel like this child of God. I don't feel like I'm in this, internal, spiritual, beautiful being.
And I think that I've been sober a while now, and I think some of the Band-Aids that I've tried to use in sobriety have caused me more pain than drugs and alcohol did. Like what? Like food.
I use food for sure.
I've lost 60 pounds because I would just eat my feelings, and I would eat a bag of chips or a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts because I just wanted to literally stuff. Like I was stuffing my feelings, but I was also stuffing my face and eating like a mental patient. And then also another big one is and
that creates more shame because when you're done stuffing your face,
you feel so horrible.
You feel so horrible. So now here comes the shame and the guilt,
exactly,
and the self-deprecating thoughts like, oh, I'm a real piece of shit. And that's with all these addictions.
Yeah, and then like with the other ones are like porn and strippers and women and all of that stuff. I've definitely used that as a Band-Aid, and that causes a lot of pain too.
Well, yeah, because if I'm not lovable and I'm not good looking and I'm not like this amazing person, well, guess what? the only way I can get love and attention and affection is from strippers and pornography and from all those avenues, because who the hell's going to love me? Who the hell's going to want to be with me?
For sure.
I think I'm a piece of shit. So obviously everyone else is going to think I'm a loser. Right.
Yeah.
So it is an inside job, and it all starts with how to get back to loving ourselves. The health anxiety will go away when I start to love myself, give myself compassion. And that's like the premise of ACA, is that the purpose of this program is to find a loving parent and, to love our inner child, because all that inner child wants, like we said before, is to be held, to be loved, to be coddled, to be like, we're okay. And when we learn to do that ourselves with our inner child, with ourselves, a lot of these addictions just fall by the wayside.
And it's a superpower.
Yeah. But it's like, it has to happen all the time. It's one of those things where it can't be like one and done. It's no. Because it comes back.
It's just like getting sober. It's a daily reprieve.
Right. It's a daily reprieve. So like I try to have that visual of me loving my little kid, sitting on my nap, sitting in a circle, meditating. And I just am like touching his hair in the sunlight and just telling him I love him and what a beautiful kid he is. And he's never done anything wrong. And he's a child of God, and he's so lovable, and that people love him. I love him. And, God loves him. And it's just like this warm feeling, that we all wanted when we were kids.
For sure.
And I think we all want as adults too.
I think for me, I think as I get older, I think I want it even more than I probably did when I was a kid.
Right. Well, as a kid, you didn't know.
Yeah, you're just trying to get through. You're just trying, it's very reactionary, where now it's a little more cerebral.
Yeah. Yeah. So
and I think for me, the biggest thing around the whole inner work child is that, and we've talked about it before, is the self-soothing, when you are triggered, recognizing it and doing something about it, but not going to outside sources for that soothing. Right. I've had a couple things come up in the last couple of days, and it's like before I really used these techniques, it would have put me into an absolute tailspin. I would have called freaking out. The world's over. I don't know what I'm going to do. I need you to tell me I'm okay. And now it's like, hey, I'm going through this. This is what it is. This is how it makes me feel. And I just sharing it with you, not looking for a solution, So
one of the ways you deal with it is you face reality. Because a lot of times when we don't want to face reality is when we check out and do one of these other things, or fight or flight. But so you face reality. Okay. I got to deal with whatever's happening.
Yeah. Cause I think reality. Cause I think we as, people from family dysfunction, we want to avoid the uneasy tasks,
right. The conflict, the hard stuff,
it's inevitable and we have to do it, like eating the frog, but I will delay eating that frog as long as I can. But now I have to just step in and address it.
Yeah. I love frogs and toads. I used to catch them as kids when I lived in New Jersey. I just love them. But yeah, it's facing reality and knowing that the outcome is uncertain and being okay with that. Yeah. Because a lot of times we'll call people and be like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. Here's what's going on. And we're looking for them to tell us that it's going to be okay. So we're calling people saying, be my parent, be my loving parent, because I don't want to do it. Yeah. So tell me it's going to be okay. Tell me it's going to work out. Tell me that I'm going to be fine, that I'm going to have enough money. My health's going to be okay. My relationship will be okay. Whatever it is. It's like we're looking for validation and approval from people that we call. And we usually get it, right? But
for sure. You call, and if you call enough people, you'll eventually get it, right?
But it doesn't last.
No.
Because I can tell you how amazing it's going to turn out and what a wonderful guy you are, and don't worry about it. But if you don't believe it, you're going to call another person and another person.
And I'm gonna be like, why is Todd sugarcoating it? He doesn't, because you don't know either. That's the thing. Yeah. Right. So
I'm lying to you too.
You're lying to me too, because you have no idea. Exactly. And I think that the greatest thing that I've come to realize is with uncertainty comes unlimited opportunity.
Totally.
And we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know. We can't see the future, but it's like, once you kind of let go of that, it's kind of beautiful, because it's like, it doesn't even really matter.
I just read a Rumi quote that I sent out to a bunch of guys. I think you're included in that, but I sent out this Rumi quote, which I just love Rumi. And it says, if God, it's already gone. if God is your higher power, your spirit, then why not trust the path?
Yeah.
You know, like if we are all children of God, if we all are spirit, you know, we're all connected, we're all eternal, and we're just living this human experience. Why should we judge it? And I always look at the example of when I got sober, I literally thought my life was over. Like I was in such a state of depression, sorrow, feeling sorry for myself, sitting on my couch and just crying for like 2 weeks straight because, all right, I got to get sober and my life was over. I can't go out anymore. I can't go to, you know, restaurants and bars. I don't want to be friends, you know?
Yeah.
And I just sat there and felt sorry for myself because I was like, you know, I didn't know a life outside of alcohol because that's how I socialized. That's how I dated. That's how I got along in life. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it just shows that I can go into self-pity and feeling sorry for myself at the drop of a hat. You know, a business deal goes south and immediately, oh my God, I'm just starting to feel sorry for myself.
Yeah.
So that's where we got to catch ourselves.
And then isn't it funny too, like, you know, with business or alcohol, that like all those things that you thought like your life was over and you're going to have no friends and all, you know, a bad business deal, what they actually have turned into.
Yeah.
You know, we've talked about that before. Some of the worst, you think that these deals are, and it goes both ways. You think it's a home run slam dunk and it can turn out not to be that way.
Right.
Just like a loser deal can turn out to be the best one.
Right. So I think the key is not get too excited on either extreme, but also catch yourself. Like we got to catch ourselves when we start going down the road of self-pity, self-deprecating thoughts. I'm a piece of shit. I'm a loser. Bad things are going to happen. You know, the business is going to close. I'm going to be homeless. I'm going to get cancer. The girl's going to dump me. Whatever those, you know, thoughts are, we got to stop that and get to the root cause. Okay, really what's going on? All that other stuff is just the symptom and the noise. What's really going on? And what's really going on typically is I am not loving Todd right now. Mm-hmm. I'm feeling unsafe. I'm feeling unworthy. Yeah. I'm feeling unloved.
And you're feeling, you know, insecure.
I feel insecure. So how do I fix that? It's not by fixing the outside circumstances.
No.
It's by loving my little child. It's by praying. It's by helping somebody else.
I think that's a big one too, is the quicker you can get out of yourself and into action with others, the better off you're going to be.
Right.
But I'm not saying you should run around and only care about other people and try to fix everything. You know, we talked about, Richard and I, about, you know, when you're in conflict in general, right? My instant go-to is want to fix it. Right. And then it can come across as controlling.
Because as kids,
I was fixing my parents, my mom, my dad, whatever.
There was anger or rage, we had to fix it.
Where now it's like my go-to is, you know, are you looking for comfort or solutions?
Right. I just had a phone call this morning with a board member of a company I'm involved with, and there's going to be some conflict coming up. And I'm friends with the board and friends with the management team. And I'm thinking, okay, how am I going to be truthful and state my opinion, but not piss other people off? Like I immediately went into the conflict of Todd.
Yeah, of course.
You know, I don't want to, I'm friends with these guys. They're not going to like what I have to say. You know, I have some rights in the documents. And it was like, instead of like, okay, I'll just state my truth and vote where I want to vote and not worry about what other people are going to think or say.
Yeah. Easier said than done.
I immediately went to, oh God.
How do I spin this? What's the spin?
This guy's going to be mad at me. I'm friends with him. But then I think about it and then that dissipates.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I can start holding myself like I'm okay.
And then at the end of the day, if you didn't do that and you didn't state your piece, you're really hurting Todd.
Well, I'm lying.
You're lying to yourself and lying to Todd, and you're hurting your 6-year-old Todd.
And then that's where more shame and guilt because I couldn't stand up for myself. What the hell?
Come
Todd,
on. And the 6-year-old's like yelling at adult Todd, like, come on, you're supposed to help me.
Right. And
you're supposed to stand up for us.
Very critical parents are saying, see, I told you couldn't stand up for yourself. I told you, you know, these other kids are going to bully you, you know? And so immediately the critical parent comes in.
Yeah. And then isn't it so funny too, that we both talked about this? Like if you, and I've been like this for not very long, but that if I am doing what I really want and what I truly believe, if someone doesn't like me because of it, that has nothing to do with me.
Right.
You know, where like if you're, if the guy doesn't want to be friends with you because you did what you felt was best in your heart of hearts, then, so be it.
As long as we can love and hold ourselves,
for sure,
and comfort ourselves and, be there for ourselves, I think we can be free to live life the way we want to live it and not be so constrained by people, places, and things. And, because most people are such people pleasers,
for sure,
so conflict avoidant and so, just ass kissers that they don't have a clue on who they are.
Yeah.
They don't have a clue.
And it's so funny too, that we touch on the insecurity, right? And how, really it's important to work on our self-worth. Cause I was sitting there with you when you were we were in your office, and I'm like, I just hope that I'm never in another room and a conversation like this is happening about me. Right. It's like, I'm like, oh God, like, well, you know what I mean? It's like,
but if it's happening regarding another company, you can guarantee it's going to be happening about you.
Yeah.
Because that's just life.
Yeah.
And that's business.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean people hate you. It doesn't mean people are judging you. It's just like people talk about other people in business, and some of it's unnecessary,
No, and it's good. It's good. But what I'm saying is then I looked at it, I'm like, what is this really? I'm like, oh, you're fine. Like it's all going to be okay.
Right. And if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be.
And then there's also,
I fought getting divorced for so long, and it was so painful. And
I should have never gotten married.
Well, there's no should have.
No, exactly.
That's a shaming comment. You should have got married, and you should have gone through this experience.
Exactly.
Because you did, and you got out of it, and you are a better person.
And it taught me a lot.
You found out who you are.
Yeah.
And you found out who you don't want to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to stuff yourself full of those bags of Cheetos
and Krispy Kremes, Takis.
Krispy Kreme, because you're not speaking up for yourself. Mm-hmm. I did the same thing when I was married. Like, instead of standing up for myself and saying what I wanted to say, I would just go stuff myself or go watch porn or go like sleep for 3 hours because I didn't want to stand up for myself.
And then it's so deep level ingrained to this day where I get a letter from her crazy, from her attorney for all this stuff. And it's like my instant thing is like, okay, let's figure out how to do this. So she'll just go away. And it's like, no, I didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
And
that's that self-talk.
Yeah, exactly.
That's that self-talk. Journaling helps.
I didn't do anything wrong.
Or calling people that have a program, that have an ACA type program or a counselor, and have real conversations.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you're going to get advice where it's conflict avoidant advice. It's people pleasing advice. It's not being your true self.
No.
The only person who knows what you want and what you want to say is you.
And I think it really is on the person. Like for me, it's really on me when I make those phone calls to gear them in the right direction. Like, hey, this is what I'm thinking about. What do you think of this? And it's not like I'm asking you what to do, but it's more so like, here, this is what I'm thinking about doing and what I should do. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yep.
Because I'm not looking for you to solve my problem.
Right. I just want some constructive criticism. I want some feedback.
This is what I'm going to be doing. Like, what do you think?
Yeah.
Because when you're like, if I call you and say, hey, Todd, what should you do? I have no idea. But if it's like, hey, Todd, this is what I think I'm going to do. Like, what do you think? And then we can.
One of my college buddies that I'm friends with, every woman he dated, he literally would call all his buddies and want to know, what do you think? What do you think? You think she's hot? Think she's funny? You think I should date her? I mean, literally everybody. And of course, most people are going to blow smoke and just be like, oh, she's amazing. She's great. But then every once in a while, they're like, I don't think she's for you. I don't think she's the right.
What do you mean she's not for me?
And immediately they just go into a panic, And it's like, if we don't have our own opinion and have our own, fabric and structure of who we are, we can't live life. And at every turn of life, we're going to be upset and reactionary.
Yeah.
But if we're really comfortable with who we are and we love ourselves and we have a belief in God, we just flow with the water, with the river.
Yeah. Get in the middle of the river, baby.
And just float. And like, hey, this is what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
I mean.
And it's like the life that we have, we couldn't have architected. Yeah. I mean, at least on my life, I couldn't have come up with this.
Right.
All the twists and turns, the ups, the downs, it's kind of beautiful if you think about it.
Right. Yeah. No, and I'm glad we can feel our feelings today, because
sure.
I used to run from those, run for those, because I mean, it all comes back to childhood, but as a kid, it wasn't encouraged to feel my feelings. In fact, I was discouraged to feel my feelings.
Yeah.
Because if I started to get angry or cry, and anger is a good thing. If I started to get angry or cry or be sad or lash out, whatever it was, I was told, stop that, go to your room. And so at a very early age, I think a lot of us are taught, don't feel your feelings, don't show emotions. And so as adults, we're like, hey, guess what? Don't feel our feelings, don't show emotions. Okay.
Or you also get taught that to get what you want, you need to rage. I mean, that's one that I saw.
Well, it's all manipulation.
Yeah.
Whether you're self-pity, curled up in the covers, going, take care of me, I'm not good. Or you're yelling and screaming at someone fuck you. It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. We're trying to get attention. We're trying to manipulate and control people, really, to love us at the end of the day.
And really, it's because you're hurt.
Right.
And both of those are a symptom of
a little kid, and we say it all the time, wants to be held. He doesn't want to be fixed. He doesn't want to be told what to do. He doesn't want to be scolded. He doesn't want to be praised. He just wants to be held and loved.
Yeah. It's
guess what? We can do that for ourselves. I mean, it's nice to get it from your partner, your spouse, your business people, your friends, but we got to do it to ourselves. We got to do it to ourselves.
And then when you're not looking for that outside approval from other people, you get it more.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a nice to have, and it, feels good. I mean, let's not lie.
It feels great,
But when you get the criticism,
an attaboy feels good.
Fall apart like a cheap suit, And
it's almost like I now enjoy criticism more because it's not personal. Right. People can tell me, give me feedback, and it just it means they care,
Yeah.
Where before that would put me in a tizzy. These guys don't like me. I'm never going to be. And it's no. It's like the old adage that, when the old basketball coach stops giving you feedback and criticizing you is the second that he's given up on you.
Right. You're not playing.
Yeah.
You want the attention, Yeah. So this is good stuff. I think we all have these fears and inhibitions and anxiety of who we are as children. And then as we grow up, a lot of these things pop in. And whether it's the health anxiety, or become a gambler, or we become a gossip queen or king, I mean, that's a big form of disassociation, because if I'm gossiping and talking about other people all day long, guess what? I don't have to look at myself.
So funny that you say that. Yeah. And the other thing too is we've talked about the phones, right? Just the games on the phone and the endless scrolling and the videos. And it's I'm happier today than I've ever been in my life. And I probably spend 1/10 the time that I used to.
Yeah.
Because I used to get home when I was married, and I would just sit on the couch and I would just bury my head in the phone.
Yeah. You're depressed. You're
depressed, sad. Disassociate. I'm just trying to not deal with my life.
Right.
I can't deal with life on life's terms right now.
Yep.
Don't feel, don't think, don't talk.
Mm-hmm.
But let me ask you this. Do you think because of, the program that we share, do you think that you can have those, personal or business discussions like you've never had before?
It's getting a lot easier. I still have a hard time with my son. I still have a hard time with him speaking my truth because I'm afraid to hurt his feelings. I'm afraid he's going to get mad at me, but I'm getting better. In business, I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
My relationship for sure. With Alex, I mean, I shoot it straight, but I'm not scared of her. See, but when I'm dating somebody that I feel threatened by or feel like is the authority figure, well, then I'm not going to speak my piece.
Yeah, never again.
Right. So, but with Alex, I feel very safe. I feel very, loved, and I can speak my truth with him.
And you're doing a disservice to your partner. Right. If you're not speaking your truth.
Well, that laundry list,
that's a form of manipulation in itself.
That laundry list is 100% lying, manipulation, and cheating. Yeah. That's all it is. So, you think we're being these nice guys and helping, but all we're doing is lying to the other person,
and creating and then you're getting further away from your true self.
Yeah.
Cause I don't know for you, but when I was at the end of my marriage, I had no idea who I was. No idea.
Right.
Like, I don't even recognize who I was.
An out-of-body experience.
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea who I was. And I still, a lot of days, like, I have no idea who I am. But, I can recognize when I people please. I can recognize when I'm manipulating, whether it's through self-pity or through rage. I can recognize this stuff and be like, okay, I don't like that. I lied, I raged, I yelled. If I have to apologize for a behavior, I will, but then I'm going to get a hold of that and be like, okay, what's really going on, Todd? And usually I'm not feeling loved. I'm not feeling, secure in who I am or in one of my relationships. And it all comes back to that broken little kid. All of it comes down to that broken little kid, So, if you guys want to come on the podcast, send us a message, or you can send me a message. I think I left my cell phone on this podcast before, but 602-332-8974, and text me. We'll get you on the podcast. You can also email us at info@thelaundrylistpodcast.com, and we will definitely get back to you. I think Shay is now checking that. Shay, for those of you who know her, she is our social media person here at the Laundry List, and she just got engaged.
She did
last night
to another great person that we
really like. So we're very happy for her. And that's one of the things, and that's one of the promises I've got from this program, is that I like to celebrate other people's happiness and success, where for years I wanted to celebrate their failures and misery. Yeah. And today I actually am like truly happy for her.
Yeah. No, me too.
And it's the growth of loving ourselves and like finding our true purpose. And
I
our
still
true
struggle
self.
with the celebrating people's failures when I have resentment against them.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in that neighborhood. I mean, I grew up in that. I mean, my parents at the dinner table were talking about all their friends and neighbors and all the bad shit that was going on. So I'm like, okay, this is what you do. I mean, I'm 6 years old. I'm listening to my parents. Your parents are God at 6. And you're like, okay, I guess I'm going to talk shit about other people and be excited when they lose all their money or get cancer,
Yeah. I'm good at celebrating. I'm good at celebrating other people's wins and successes, but there's certain people or things that I'm like, I will celebrate.
Well, the ego is like, we've said this before, but its purpose in life is to be right. And one of the things, it could be right that I'm a piece of shit and I'm unlovable, or it could be right that, for me to be better than somebody else, they have to have some fall downs. They got to get knocked down. So if some of my colleagues and competitors, like in venture capital, for instance, are having big failures, I could be like, I feel better. I feel a little bit better about myself because I'm doing better than them, Yeah, but at the end of the day, we're all mirrors for each other, because guess what? I'm going to be in that guy's shoes soon enough.
Yeah.
So if I want love and compassion from my environment, I better fucking have love and compassion for that guy.
Got to give it away to get it, right?
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm going to get the same shit he's going to get, and I don't want to be that guy. And it doesn't feel good.
No, it doesn't.
You talk about stuffing your face or watching porn or gambling to a degree of like uncertainty. It's creating shame for ourselves. Yeah. We're creating a lot of shame. Judging and gossiping and talking bad about other people and celebrating their misery is creating shame. And it's creating more anxiety and fear for ourselves. But when we celebrate other people, that's why one of the greatest parts of the 12-step programs is when we pray for other people, it actually is seeping in and we are feeling the prayers for the other people, for ourselves, because it is a form of self-love by praying for other people. So the last couple of years have started praying for other people on a pretty consistent basis. And it really does make me a nicer, softer, more lovable person.
For sure.
Where if I'm sitting there judging other people in my prayers, like, oh, thank God.
And you don't want to be judged in other people's prayers either.
Yeah. I mean, just, hearing like, oh, that guy lost all his money in that deal. It's like, the little kid's like, yes, I can get attention now. But really, we should be like, I feel bad for him, and I'm going to pray for him, and I'm going to send him love and positive energy and wish him well and success on the road.
Yeah.
And if you ever need to talk, I'm here for you.
For sure.
Because I've been in your shoes plenty of times. And that's the beauty about being vulnerable and being open and honest is like, you know, we identify with the misery and the hurt when we come in, but then we can help other people because we're so open. And like people are like that look at people in 12-step programs are like, God, you guys seem so open and are able to share anything because we're trained in 12-step programs to like get all this stuff out.
Yeah, that's so funny that you say that because it's like also it's like, you know, some of the people that aren't in 12-step programs that, you know, make comment on my life, they're like, you're so present. It's like, because we're trained for that too.
Yeah. Trained to be present. We're trained not to live the robotic life that we're so taught, where it's more material based, it's more linear based, you know, increase your career, get more money, get more toys, get more notoriety, get more power, get more fame. Like that's kind of the setup a little bit in America, especially. But we know where that leads us. And it's still an empty hole in our heart.
Yeah, because if you're always chasing more, you're never going to get it, you know.
But love for God, love for others, being of service, helping, being vulnerable. Those are the things to me that lead a purpose-filled life.
For sure.
Of love and importance. So, all right. Well, we appreciate everyone being here. We love you. We hope that you're nice to our friends. Be nice to my friend this week, and that friend is you. Again, if you want to come on the podcast, text me, email, leave us a comment. We are going to do a call-in show next week. So if you have questions, let us know what your questions are. We'll probably take 3 of them. We've done this before, and it was a lot of fun. So thank you for listening to The Laundry List, and we will see you next week.